Look, I'm not going to go deep X and O in this because you were telling me at the meeting today, at this point, you don't X and O. It's about will and just getting past that other guy. But who's the pressure on in this Game 5 right now? And do we feel like 2012 is starting to creep up and haunt a little bit?
You know, I don't know that it's creeping up, but I think the pressure is squarely on the Spurs. Squarely on the Spurs right now. In part because, one, of how well they started the series. The fact that they're the #1 seed, and then the fact that they really had it handed to them over those last 2 games, which gave all that momentum and confidence to the younger, more athletic Oklahoma City team that has had success against them in the postseason. So there's going to be pressure. And in terms of tweaking and changing, you know, I agree. Listen, I don't think there's an X and O issue for them, but there is a rotational personnel issue that maybe they can make. There's going to be talk of whether or not you go with Manu Ginobili. I don't know that he wants to because, you know, then who do you go to the bench with, and how does that affect that rotation? So it's going to be a challenge for him. I think this is as much of a challenge that Greg Popovich has faced outside of the finals since he's had this group together, because this probably, you know, it seems like we say this every year, this probably could be their last run, but in a lot of ways, to me, with that core nucleus, this really could be it. You know, those guys aren't going to be able to defy Father Time much longer. This could be that last golden opportunity for the Spurs.
So if he thinks that, they're thinking that.
They're aware of it. They have to have that in their mind. I'm sure they're not focusing on this as the last march for the Spurs in general as an organization. But you know, there's a few players that are looking at this as their final potential moment all together to actually succeed together. If it was all about talent, the series would be over because OKC has far more talent right now than the San Antonio Spurs. If it was all about experience, San Antonio Spurs would have continued on after those first 2 wins and the series would be over there. I think it's more about, and it will be more about, the deliberate intent, possession to possession going forward, which really requires a lot of energy, a lot of focus, a lot of concentration for 2 more wins for either team. And that's why I think it's a level playing field in that respect. And the edge may go to San Antonio because they have 2 home games remaining. But, you know, the momentum swings quickly. It can swing right now from quarter to quarter in this series.
It does, and I want to button this with just the Ibaka return and the raising the athleticism of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the Spurs trying to, or having really, to try to match that.
And that's the challenge. You know, it's one thing when you get outplayed or you don't do certain things well. It's another thing, though, when a team has an ability to do things for which you really don't have an answer. And if Westbrook, Ibaka, and Durant, because they're also two-way players, that's the other big advantage with those 3 guys. Those guys aren't specialists. You know, their best players have an ability. You saw that. I like that little dance. But they have an ability to really be game changers on both ends. And, you know, it gets lost in how brilliant Durant was in that game because of the exploits of Westbrook. But, you know, they can hurt you in so many ways. And when they're able to get going defensively, and again, their confidence level really rises. That's the beauty of Serge Ibaka. It's not, I always say it all the time, it's not always about stats. It's about impact. And his presence on the floor changes the entire dynamic defensively. You look at the scoring dwindling for this team now that he's been back. San Antonio has struggled to score the basketball.
In the paint, in transition.
Because of that guy.
Yeah, field goal percentages have gone down. Everything's going in the wrong direction since Ibaka showed up. And actually also give some credit to Reggie Jackson, who was, you know, implanted into that starting lineup by Scott Brooks.
Different energy tonight, though, because the Spurs, I should say the next games, the Spurs' energy level should be higher playing at home, much like we saw in those first 2 games.